I have talked lots of times before about what an incredible model of faith my parents gave to me to show me that faith wasn't just something that we did on Sunday, but it was something that shaped our whole lives. I would say that the same is true about giving. I saw my parents being generous in a lot of different areas that they cared about. They always cared about arts organizations, and my mom was super committed to CASA, Child Advocates, but their church giving was their first priority. It was about their relationship with God. Even now, as pastors, my husband Brad and I, we get this front row view, this front row seat to see people who live generously, who are so excited to give. They're so excited to give to the work of ministry because they can't wait to see what happens in people's lives as a result. For us, giving, of course, it has to be about more than paying the pastor's salary because we are those pastors. So I've had to really do a lot of deep work of sorting through my fears and my desire to control the unknowns of life with money by controlling money. Early in our ministry, we were what you would call conscientious givers. We gave a set amount each month to the church, but that amount was always driven by our sense that we weren't making very much money as brand new pastors. And so it was always like, well, what can we afford to give? That shifted about 7 or 8 years ago when we began to realize that just asking, what can we afford to give, was never going to move us toward becoming those joyfully generous people that we so admired in our church and in our parents. So we decided to take the leap and to jump into tithing, to give 10% of what we make. It felt pretty scary, to be honest, at first, but it also felt so good to shift from letting our fear determine our giving to letting our giving actually shape our faith. I'm not saying that it's always easy. It's not, for sure. But when we hit those crunch periods, we have learned to ask new questions about whether the things that we want to spend our money on are the things that God wants for us. If those things really do that work of shaping us into the people who God wants us to be. And that's a different set of questions than we used to ask. God wants us to be those joyfully generous people, and our giving is helping us grow into that. So I guess my invitation to you would be that if God is inviting you to take a leap, know that you're in good company. We've been there too, and we're still with you in learning and in growing in generosity together.